Yo, what is going on? How is everybody doing today? Welcome to the Risen Fallen Podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson. If you're brand new to this show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health, self-development, and how to get your life moving in the right direction. My honest intention with this, my goal with this is to have a show that you can listen to once a week. Or if you haven't, listened to the older episodes, you can catch up on those as well. But just something to give you a little something to push you, hopefully, in the right direction, or give you a new perspective, a new way to think about life, or some of the issues that you're going through, or some of the issues that you've been through in the past, and how you can start to overcome those things as well. Excuse me. And yeah, it is a beautiful Monday morning here. I am obviously recording this over the weekend, so we're going to pretty much put this out. I'll throw some clips together tomorrow, and then it'll come out on Monday. It's Saturday night right now. I just got home from a buddy's kid's birthday party, and then, hit a little workout. I'm feeling good now, and I'm able to just kind of sit down and chill out and relax. And so, what I wanted to talk about today, so happy Monday, or first of all, let's start off by just saying that. Happy Monday. It is Monday, October 27th today, and we have been, pretty blessed so far, actually, in terms of weather here in Vancouver this year. It's been a little bit yucky for a couple days here and there. A little rainy, a little bit chilly, but for the most part, it's been pretty dry and pretty not too bad. It's been a little chilly here and there, but yeah, we're doing pretty good. And so, happy Monday. Hope that you're doing freaking good. And where are we at here? Yeah, anyway, so happy Monday. And we are, this weekend is Friday is Halloween, so it's October 31st. It's the inverse of October 13th. It's October 31st, or Friday the 13th, It's Friday the 31st. Interesting if you care about numbers and stuff like that. I'm not a big guy on that, but it is interesting. But anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about today. So one of the things I noticed that a lot of people struggle with in this, especially in our generation. I just turned 30, but I feel like anybody that's like around, I've got a sister that's a little bit older than me and a sister that's a little bit younger than me. So I kind of get like a good, I feel like anyone around this age, I kind of have a barometer around where they're at. And I feel like a lot of people, myself included at some times in my life, and even in certain circumstances at this point in my life, there's this idea that we, lack confidence, lack self-identity, and this comes into place sometimes when people are either, saying things about us, we perceive people might think things about us, those types of ideas. Oh, these people are judging me. Oh, these people might think I'm this. These people might think I'm that. These people might think, this, or they might say this, or they might say that, or, maybe they have said certain things. Maybe, oh, this person said this to me, or this person said that to me, or this person, they treat me like this, they treat me like that. And I think that a lot of these issues come down to just a lack of confidence. And the reason I say that is because a lot of the times, people could say things like, oh, they're so-and-so, this person, that person is so, is so fat, is so skinny, is so, loud, is so quiet, is so reserved, is so obnoxious. There's always going to be somebody that's going to say something. And, there's kind of realistically two reactions that you can possibly have to that, which is, well, that's not true. Or a part of you internally says, yeah, that actually is true. And I've had circumstances like that in the past. Like there's been times where, oh, who's the fucking idiot that didn't put his phone on silent? There's been times in the past where, people have said things about me when I was overweight, when I did, treat myself a little bit poorly, when I was being obnoxious, when I was being loud, when I was being, a little bit, when I look back at, behaving in ways that made me feel guilty and shameful. And I think rightfully so, and sometimes. And so there's been times where people have called me out for that. They've said, hey, this guy's really obnoxious. This guy's kind of a douche. This guy, da 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 da. Or there's been times where, maybe I was just catching strays. Maybe I was just out in a group and people are kind of talking shit and they're like, oh, this guy's a little bit overweight, or this guy, obviously they say it in a funnier fucking way than that. But, and a part of me is like, that there's some truth behind this. And that fucking pisses me off because this person knows that that's going to bother me and that's why they're saying that. Or maybe they don't know that it's bothering you. And that's why they're saying it. They think it's going to be funny. And so the idea that I'm trying to put across right now is when somebody says something, when you think somebody meant something, when they have this accusation, or you just kind of have the foresight of like, oh, they might judge me, they might say these things. There is really just two reactions. There's the internal dialogue that tells you it doesn't fucking matter what they're saying because I know that it's bullshit. And then there's the other internal dialogue that tells you this person's talking shit and there's a little bit of truth behind it. And usually the reason that bothers us is because we know that what they're saying is true and we've wanted to change it. And what we're actually feeling hurt about, what we're actually upset about is the fact that we've wanted to change that thing. Yeah, we sabotage ourselves, when it comes through to following through on that. And, in regards to being overweight, that's exactly how I felt at times in my life, because there would be times where, everyone's got that story of like the t-shirt in the pool and you get called out for it, and you're just like, well, fuck, I do wish, I maybe even knew what the right step was. Maybe if I just asked for help, if I just, these types of things. And so the reason I bring this up is because I've noticed, like I said, a lot of people in around my age group, around like the Gen Z, the Gen Y. I don't even actually know what the gens are, but it's pretty obvious that most people suffer from some sort of like anxiety around, a self-image or self-confidence. And I think that there's a few, actionable things as well as very simple things that we can do on like a regular basis to start to build that kind of self-trust, that self-esteem, that self-confidence back up. And in turn, that's going to change the way that we interact with other people. Like I said, when it comes down to if somebody's talking shit, if somebody's going to be a hater, if somebody's going to, or sometimes we just have that little voice inside the back of our head just saying like, oh, this person's talking shit behind my back, or this person's judging me. Usually that comes from a place of this lack of self-confidence that I'm talking about. And so when I'm talking about, how you can start to build that up, you might be going like, okay, this is going to be some woo-woo type shit, or it's going to be some Jocko Willink type shit. And realistically, the answer, honestly, as usual in life, is a little bit somewhere in the middle. It's a little bit gray area. But really what it comes down to is, like, honestly, trusting yourself. The same way that we think about this idea of how we would feel. I don't know about you guys, if you have somebody in your life about this, or you've always wanted somebody in your life like this. You've like maybe watched movies and been like, fuck, I wish I had a brother like that. I wish I had a friend like that. Or maybe you have somebody like this where you trust, when they say, yo, I'm going to fucking be there at 6 o'clock, that they mean they're going to be there at 6 o'clock. Or at least that they mean 7 o'clock. And they'll be there at 7 o'clock when they say 6 o'clock. The type of person you actually know, like when they say that they're going to do something, that they're actually going to do that thing. There's no part of you that has to be like, fuck, what if they don't do that thing? What if they don't hold their end of the bargain up? It's creating a type of relationship with yourself like that. It's like... Your thoughts and your words are kind of like a bank account. And every time you follow through with what you say and what you think, you're kind of making a deposit. And when you don't do that, when you break a promise to yourself or other people, then you're making a withdrawal. And you don't want to have an overdraft account, Trust me, it sucks. And yeah, I'm talking from experience there. So it's one of those things where you have to build this kind of idea of self-belief and all of these things that really do sound, like I said, it's kind of in the middle of woo-woo and fucking David Goggins. It's a tough concept to even wrap our heads around, but really what I try and tell myself on a regular basis is to always do what you say you're going to do, and only say you're going to do things that you're willing to follow through on. And those are I feel like everybody struggles with one of those things. You either are somebody that, actually they're kind of basically two sides of the exact same coin, because it's always kind of like this idea of like, always telling yourself, okay, tomorrow, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to, tomorrow I'm going to try my best. I'm going to do this. And that's the other thing, is like this idea of when we tell ourselves we're going to try and do something, because even just in that is a little back door of like, but I might fuck it up, but I might fail. And even though that is a reality and it is going to happen sometimes in life, even just, and this is where it becomes a little bit woo-woo, but even just thinking about or having that that preconceived notion, oh, it's going to be okay if I don't do this thing. That almost is our back door. That almost is our thing. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to fail, but what I am saying is you're priming your brain to, if you allow yourself to speak like that, and to think like that. And that is where it becomes a little bit woo-woo, because it's not really my normal way of thinking. It's not really my normal way of advising people to think. But it is something that I think is a powerful message. I think that there is something behind this idea of, the way that we speak, the way that we think. Oh, I'm going to try and do this, because this is something that I think is a powerful tactic, because, when day in and day out we tell ourselves, oh, I'm going to try to avoid doing this, or I'm going to try and do something. I'm going to try and work out. If I have the time, if I have the, I'm going to try and go to bed early. I'm going to try and wake up early. I'm going to try and, read a book. Oh, I didn't do, I'm going to try and start a business. I'm going to try and do this. When we tell ourselves, oh, I'm going to try, in the back of our mind, what we're saying is, but if I fail, it'll be okay. At least I tried. And again, like I said, there is some truth behind it. But there is also some power behind telling ourselves, I'm going to do something. Because when you tell yourself, I'm going to do something, what that actually solidifies is no matter what. When two people say they're going to get married, they say, till death do us part. What does that mean? When you actually truly mean it, it means there's no reason that's going to pull us apart. We are going to figure this out. We're making a promise, not only to ourselves, but to each other and to God, that we're going to do this for the rest of our lives. And so, that's one example. And again, there's telling yourself you're going to try, and there's telling yourself you're going to do. And that's one of those things. But what I'm trying actually to talk about is to, like I said, only follow through with everything that you say you're going to do, and only say things that you're going to do that you're actually going to follow through with. And that's one of the things that I kind of struggle with all the time. I have people say, and you guys you probably have the exact same experiences. People hit you up, be like, hey bro, I haven't seen you for so long, we should fucking chill. And I'm like, yeah dude, we should. Yeah, we should. And you kind of go, well, and you're just kind of being politer about it. And again, this is kind of a silly excuse or silly example, but it's kind of like you're being polite. You're like, oh yeah, next week. And then next week comes up, and maybe like you have a kind of an opportunity to make money, or see somebody that you really care about, that you're really close to in your life or whatever. And you're like, fuck, maybe I should flake on this person and go see this other person or whatever it is. And then you think in your head, oh, this person's going to think I'm doing this thing. They're going to think that I'm flaking out. And the reason you think that they think that you're going to be flaking out is because you are. And the reason that you're flaking out on them is because you didn't have the guts to say, no, I'm good, dude. Maybe there's a reason we don't show. And again, I'm not trying to sound like a dick. Maybe that's a stupid example. But it's one of those things where it's like so many of us overcommit. We're trying to sound impressive or generous. We're trying to sound like we care a lot. And a lot of us do about, people that are super close to us in our lives. But, even if you are overpromising and you're overcommitting and you are following through on all of those things, you end up letting yourself down because you end up draining yourself. And then you end up letting the people that you care about the most down as well because, as a lot of us, contrary to what we may think, when you are allowing yourself to get burnt out and overcommitted to a bunch of things and overworked and rested, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not eating properly because you're convincing yourself and justifying to yourself that it's okay to skip on these steps to take care of yourself, exercising on a regular basis, eating properly. And again, yes, doing things that you say you're going to do and following through on your commitments, then you will have this kind of, you become a lesser version of yourself and what you're not supposed to be. And when you're like that and you're behaving like that and subconsciously you're aware of it, you start to treat yourself and people around you worse. And so it's just one of those things that I've been thinking about recently, of this like idea of like, follow through on the things you say you're going to do. And this even goes a step further because once you start actually saying, you find yourself saying things, oh, I'm going to, you tell your partner, oh, I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I'm going to do this thing. Oh, I'll take care of the dishes before I go to work. Oh, I'll take care of this. I'll take care of that. Or you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When you start to follow through on all of those things, you become a lot more mindful of the things you say. You become a lot more intuitive to this idea, to your own thoughts before they become verbalized things. I notice these things in myself all the time where I'll think something. Oh, I should say grace before I have this meal. Oh, I should do this for this person. I should go and say hi to that person. I should, wave to this person. I should do that. I always find myself thinking these thoughts. And I've noticed maybe that's like before I say it, I'm saying it to myself. It's one of these intuition things. And that's the type of intuition that I think we should listen to. Because when you have those types of thoughts, that's like an invitation from God of like, hey, you should connect with people more. The people that are right there in front of you. So many of us, when we go out in public, we wear the headphones and hoods on. We want to just not be seen. We don't want to be, we feel, like I said, guilt, shame, anxiousness, whatever it is. Oh, I don't look good enough. I don't speak good enough. I don't think good enough. I don't do, I just got off work and I'm tired. All of those times when we're not feeling good, when we feel low energy, when we feel disconnected, are the times that we need social interaction the most, despite what we all feel. And so it becomes a step further when you start following through on the things that you say that you're going to do, whether you say them to yourself, whether you say them to people that you love, whether you say them to people around you, your coworkers, or random fucking people. When you just say things, oh, I'll do this, oh, I'll do that, or you're lying about the things that you did do or didn't do, whatever it is. This idea of like, do what you say what you do. There's this, when there's an inconsistency between the two of them, you have this subconscious, self-consciousness inside due to a lack of integrity. And what I was trying to say is the more you start to listen to yourself and be more aware of what you say and follow through with what you say, the more you're going to start to be more aware of those thoughts. And then you're going to be able to follow through on those thoughts before you even say them. You know what I mean? Does that kind of make sense? And then when somebody says some shit about you, You say, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. Oh, you're fat. Oh, you're too skinny. Oh, you're this. You're dumb. Then you know in your heart of hearts, you're like, that's not fucking true. That's literally not true. So I don't have to worry about that. And it sounds, like I said, kind of woo woo and cliche, but it's true. You know, the more you believe in yourself and you trust in yourself, the more you kind of have that idea of an identity, and it's a lot less, damaging when people are lashing out at you, or even that you might think that someone could be judging you. It impacts you a lot less, and then because of that thought, it even impacts you even deeper, and then you start to think that less about people because it kind of is a trickle down effect, and so. I think that's pretty much it. Don't tell yourself you're going to try and do something. Tell yourself you are going to fucking do something. I'm not saying that it's not okay to fail. I'm saying that there is power behind the words that we use and the way that we think. And we should give ourselves grace. But I think we should prime ourselves to succeed as much as we possibly can, which is allowing ourselves no room for error in our speech and the way that we think about our goals and the way that we think about where we want to be in life. And when we find those challenges, we should learn from them, not beat ourselves up from them. And that being said, we should also follow through with the things that we say that we're going to do, and really only say that we're going to do things that we're willing to follow through on. Because nobody likes it when they're getting flaked out on. And nobody likes feeling like a flake when they're being a flake. And so I think that's pretty much it. It's just a little lesson about integrity or an idea about integrity that I've been thinking about recently, because I am that guy that tends to overcommit. And sometimes I do allow it to let myself get burnt out. And I've noticed that in that, I can treat people a little bit less, or sometimes just treat myself a little bit less, than what I think I really deserve, or what the people around me deserve. And so on that note, I think that's a beautiful place to wrap this up. I'll see you guys next week, next month. That'll be November 3rd, I think. I don't know. Whatever. See you guys next Monday. Much love. Peace out. Love you all. Bye.